Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to put some lights on the front of my Jeep. These Wranglers came with 6-inch fog lights from the factory. They're connected to a pull switch on the multi-switch lever on the steering column. The person I bought this from at some point put this aftermarket front bumper on it, and they just took the stock lights and mounted them up here. They stood up a little high. I could see them as I was driving. They were always, just distracting me and irritating me. Plus, at some point, they had broken the one bracket, and then they cut, welded, did a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to clean that all up and make it look better. Plus, they're fog lights. They're designed to only light up the very, closest section right in front of you, so that in foggy conditions you can see the road, the lines, and be able to drive. I'm putting on some floodlights so that we can see down the road when we're on trails and whatnot. I decided to go with the RockShox LED lights. These are from Harbor Freight. They are a 3-inch square light, and they are 2,120 lumens per light. So we're going to clean up the bar, get it all ready for the mounts, probably drill and tap the bar so that we can use the stock bolt and get them secure in there, and then get the lights all mounted up. We're going to hook them to the stock wiring harness, but then I will show you a little trick on how you can overcome the issue, which is when you turn the brights on, the fog lights turn off. But there is a way you can make it so that even the factory switch with your brights on, you can still have these lights on. So we'll show you that when we get to that point. We got those cleaned up, and I'm gonna mask this off, cover it up, and then just put a little paint on it. This is powder coated, but I'll just use some couple coats of black, some kind of black paint that hopefully matches. The lights will, the brackets will cover up a big chunk of it, so you really won't see it. At some point I'm going to take all of my metal work, the front bumper, rear bumper, the skid plate, or the rock sliders off, take them and have them sandblasted and repowder coated. Ooh, that missed. Can says to allow several minutes between coats. Don't look at it too closely.
I'm just getting all the juicy details.
Yeah, it's too hot.
Yep, it's bubbling.
It's too hot and boiling the paint. Maybe we should let it cool off for a few minutes. No. 90 degrees is fine. 95 degrees is fine. 185 degrees from grinding it's a little bit too warm. So the brackets that came with them are designed to be bolted through a bumper So it's got these two tabs on top that hold the top of the hex nut from spinning as you tighten the nut on the bottom side. So we're going to cut them off and just sand it smooth, and then we're going to drill and tap the bumper and just put a bolt straight down into the bumper to hold them in place. So we put 3 coats, fairly light, and then 1 thick 4th coat. You know, hard to see. Well, the sun's going down over the roof of the house, but we will let that dry for a little while. Then we will pull the tape off. We will do some measurements and figure out exactly where the lights are going to mount, and then we'll mark them, drill them out, and then tap them for the bolts and get them all installed. We were just discussing how we were going to find the midpoint on here, and then I'm going to space out the same on each side of that so that we have our lights centered and equidistant from the center point. And Brainchild over here came up with, let's use a string. We can measure it and we can just fold it in half. I said, sweet. So if you hold this right on the edge of the knot there, hold this over, don't pull it too tight, but right there. Mark it right there. There's the middle. If you mark that somehow, so that it's not gonna, got a Sharpie, that would be sweet. So now we've marked it, and the middle point, you need a square. Piece of tape. If you hold that again right on the edge, pull it, tight. Put your square across the top, tighten it up. Let's do the other side. That's your center line right there. So I kind of decided I also wanted it sort of lined up with this. I am going to mark it precisely. I'll get one lined up close and then I'll mark the other one so that it's the same distance, so they're centered on the bumper, because the grill might be off one side or the other just a little bit, but this way they'll both be somewhat in front of one of these ribs right here on the grill. So I couldn't really think of a great way to find the very top, so I'm just using the eye to to look, and then using a level to kind of figure out, you know, what level is and all that kind of stuff, and looking at different areas to try to come up with an idea. And I think it's pretty level, or pretty top right there. So we'll just take our center punch and allow Steven to smack my hand. You may want to hit it a little harder so it actually leaves a
that was left-handed.
There we go. Now we take and measure from our center line mark to there, and it is 4 7/8. So come over here, 4 7/8. A little mark roughly where it's going to be. Put the bracket it's on the ground.
Lost itself.
I don't know, I think it was right there somewhere. We'll go ahead and verify. That was not it. 4 7/8. I was off by a country mile. And that is nowhere close.
You went to the center hole. You gotta go to the center hole.
Oh, to the center hole. You're right. Thank you. Yeah, now we're looking good. So that's why you always measure once. Have somebody there to verify for you. And that's why you always measure twice. As much as you can to mitigate errors, but here to tell you, you do this long enough, you're gonna make mistakes. You do anything, you're gonna make mistakes. I've always said, or thought at least, said also that the sign of a good fabricator isn't someone that can make it work the first time. It's somebody who can fix the mistakes and make it work the second time. Then we'll mark it. Oh, that moved. I moved a country mile, but I know where it's supposed to be. All right. So I want anyone who can tell me what I just did wrong to tell me what I just did wrong. Pause the video, leave a comment, see if you can figure out what it was I did. The Jeep is sitting on a slight incline in the driveway, but I found the level center line this way. So my brackets are going to be angled down when the Jeep is sitting level. I just thought about it as I was drilling that second hole. But that's okay. Luckily the lights are adjustable, so we'll just fix it in the lights. So, I couldn't find any tap oil, so I just got a little motor oil in here. We'll just use it to help lubricate the threads. That'll start with. Getting it started is always the hardest for me. I'm always trying to make sure I get it as super straight and level and lined up as I can. These are the lights. They have 4 LEDs in the middle, and then they are side specific, so they have 3 smaller LEDs on the side. So the pattern is, wider on the outside than it is on the inside. But when you put 2 of them side by side, they don't need to really overlap in the middle, but they give you the flare out on each side. According to the box, out there, in the really bright up to 32, and then out about wherever that is, 150 feet or so, I would gather. It gives you, 32 to 65 feet of width. So with 2 of them side by side, especially if you angle them out so that the middle overlap is a little less, you should get 60 to 120 feet of width out there, about 100 to 300 feet. It says it will actually light up out there to 590 feet, so that's great. So we got them all mounted, we wired them up. I didn't bore you with just the electrical connections and crimping and whatnot, but they're tie wrapped down so that they won't fly out. Mounted, not adjusted yet. Obviously we have to go out like we said earlier and adjust them. They are, like I said earlier, connected to the headlight, the multi-position switch on the column. The problem you have currently is when you turn on your brights, it disconnects the power to the fog lights, because they were intended to be fog lights, and fog lights light up right in front of you. And if you're trying to light up or down the road, you don't need the fog lights. So there is an easy way to bypass that and make it so that you can use your fog lights even while your brights are on. So we will go ahead and show you how to do that. You come under your hood into the relay panel, and if you look, fuse number 35 is fog lamp relay. So you remove that relay, and a lot of people will tell you to bend this tab over, but if you just cut it like that one, then it fixes the problem. So we'll go ahead, see if I can cut it with these pliers. I have them stuck in my back pocket. cut it off. Stick it back in, and then we go and we test it. And if everything works the way it's supposed to, on your lights and on your now off-road only lights, you shine your brights. Oh, the brights were on. So now the off-road lights stay on as you go from high to low, which is an important thing to remember. These lights are designed for off-road use only. All over the packaging it says do not use on road. They are too bright, too many lumens for on-road use. So we really appreciate watching this video. Hopefully it will help some of you out, especially the trick with the relay for those who've, with a factory bumper or aftermarket bumper and lights, decide to use that same switch instead of having to put another rocker switch somewhere and figure out where that's going to go. Hopefully this will help some of you in your journeys. Please like, subscribe, and share. Leave us a comment. Let us know what else you'd like us to bring you, and we will see you.